Hi, this is Paul, and I'm back again to show you another video. And this one I'm calling 3D Printed Platonic Order phi HEXPENT 3, and it's 369 toy triple delta. In my last video, I designed a connector with tapered sleeves, and these sleeves would take the vectors, and the vectors could be arranged in a hexagon fashion to create a spiral. Now these connectors uses an obtuse and an acute angle, as I showed in my last video. Now these connectors are around about 120 degrees, more or less, because the vectors are sloping. When I first designed this connector, I used two obtuse angles, and when I was ready to 3D print, I realized this is only 60 degrees, and I realized later this has got another use. So let's take another look at this bend connector. Now you can see it goes between the purple 2 and the orange 4. See that this is basically a 147-258 arrangement. And the bend is a close bend showing the root 3 of the red and yellow vector, which is the vertical vector of the dodeca. Now I realize that vertical length could be different lengths, so I've come up with some HEXPENT bends. Let's take a look. Now the purple and orange vectors, these are Icosa vectors, and they've got pentagons on each side. But the red and yellow vectors are hexagon for the Dodeca vectors. I've put a ring on the end of the hexagon sleeve because I found it was easy to make a mistake between the hexagon and the pentagon socket. In my last video, I showed that my dual color Icosa revealed the vectors of the hexagon and the rhombic. Now I showed the three vectors of the Icosa on the top triangle with the 369. Now these vectors for this hexagon and the rhombic are based around a 369. And you can see in this case it's the Dodeca yellow and cyan vector. So I put a triangle together with the orange, blue and cyan vectors. Now you can see the three triangles work out on this Icosa. But you see I got the green, yellow and green Dodeca vectors making up the triangle. So I think by using the dual vector system, we are making some very nice geometry here. So I've come up with three triangular spirals going around the red and yellow vertical axis. But actually I'm showing three going up and three going down. So it'll probably be 147 of the delta going up. Show three deltas going downways, and that will be from the 258. It looks like the star configuration of electricity comes from the 369. I'll look at it in my next video. So now it's plain to see you need the dual vector system to produce these waves. So now I put another delta configuration using the spacers, the red and yellow spacers, and the HEXPENT connectors. So you can see that these delta waves can be varied by the length of the two vectors, the Dodeca vector and the Icosa vector. So we can get three delta waves around each vector of the Dodeca. That's 20. That makes 60 waves altogether. But I guess there's a major problem with this discovery. It's in 3 dimension. Now if it was in 2 dimension, you could probably multiply my views by 1,000, because two-dimensional theorists always get the limelight, because they justify their theories because they studied more books. And two-dimensional theories of chaos have been going for about 6 decades. I'm just saying the truth. Anyways, I've put this animation in the top view, so let's take a look. You can see that there's a yellow dot in the center as it's going around. I wonder what's that dot, and what it is the yellow and red vector in the top view. And that vector is one of the Dodeca vectors. Now you see these vectors just act like the North Pole. They always stay in the same direction and position. So I can't see how intellectuals get such a problem of understanding this system. So now I'm going to show you that expanding delta that I done on the 3D printer. I'll show it rotating around. I'm calling it expanding delta, but you know, I'd like to call it a spiral, but a spiral you think of circular. But it's definitely a waveform, and I think you get a perfect helix if you go from vertex to vertex. I would say the mathematicians would go to town on this. By playing with the two lengths of the dual vector system, that will give you helixes of any shape. What I'm showing here is a congruent system, showing everything the same length. I've showed the distances between the size 1 cubes and size 1 Icosas in my earlier videos. I've made another delta string using the expanding pieces, so you can take a look at that as well. I've put the Dodeca Vectors with the two colored sleeves, a yellow and red sleeve. I'm hoping I can improve on that if I add a two-colored printer. I think the two-colored printer would work okay with these sticks because I print the sticks vertical and you could change the color on the way up. I think there's a lot of future in 3D printing and there seems to be a lot of activity. But I don't think there's much future for 3D printing with the chaos theory, because the 3D printing guys really know what 3D order means. Anyways, that's enough from Paul for today. So this is Paul saying thank you very much for looking at my video.